Welcome to Defeated Tragedy to Triumph. I got a phenomenal brother here with me today. I need y'all to tune in. This brother is deep. I'm just going to give him the platform, and I know he's going to take it all the way. All right? Welcome to Defeated Tragedy to Triumph. My brother, introduce yourself to the platform.
Hello, everyone. My name is Professor Terrence Coffie from New York University, and I'm so honored to be here with my man. I feel like, you got to sit because your glasses on shades. I'm sitting here with my Bible with the seat. But it's such an honor to be here with you, man, and I'm very proud of the work that you're doing and raising the voices and lives of those individuals who have been impacted by the justice system, man, for me. And I'm
No doubt.
glad to be here.
No doubt. So, you got a story you have a story, brother, to tell him?
Man, it depends on which one you want.
Okay. Man, the platform is yours, brother.
It's Defeated Tragedy, right?
Right.
To Triumph.
Correct.
Well, as I said, right now I'm an adjunct lecturer at New York University, but before all that stuff, the published articles and all that stuff, my name was Terrence Coffie, E604958, sir. I came from that background. I grew up in foster homes. I grew up fighting. I grew up learning to have to fight, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. And with that, that way of thinking, environment, and everything that I was involved in led to my first incarceration at age 20 years old. And from there, my prison career lasted over 19 years with 6 prison beds. A lot of it related to the things that that come with what we do out there. And it was just about trying to live and trying to survive the ghetto, as we like to say. And
right.
Real is real. And it was only, it was about when I turned 39, and I got hit with a habitual offender status.
Okay, now for the audience, let them know. Let them
know
what that is.
A habitual offender is an individual who has committed so many crimes till the state say, we're going to do you a favor, your mama a favor, your children a favor. We're going to do all y'all a favor, and we're going to hide you for a couple of years. And what that started off with me from initially was from an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. And it was all just connection with, that lifestyle I lived. And it was there, man. I got to be very honest. It was there when they came with that status because the initial charge, what they were initially going to do, the 20 years for the habitual offender and the 10 years is going to be for the aggravated assault. And when they came to me, they said, you're going to be doing 30 flat. And with the 30 flat, I was 39 years old, and you got to do the math. So we talking about 69, 70 before I see the light of day. Yeah.
Come out. Wow.
Yeah. So at that point, and I always tell cats, man, that's the time, man, I started praying to God that my foster mama taught me about. And I went to praying to Jesus, like, look at him. And when I remember going into the cell, and, it's something my mama used to always tell me, man, coming up, because she knew, what background I came from. My daddy was a pimp. My mama was a prostitute. I grew up in the system, so it was almost like some cats say they was raised in this. I was born in it. So it was what it was for me. My foster mom used to always tell me, Terrence, one day you're going to get yourself in some mess you can't get out of. And really, we kind of get those messages along the way in our lives because I'm that cat who believe that God always got a ram in the bush. And for every cat who may hear this, there's that one person we had that, dropped that on us, whether we heard them then or now. That's how it went for me. And it was on that day, man, when I went back in that cell, they told me about those 30 years that my mama's voice came back to my voice, came back to my head. And I remember going in the cell wise, you know how when you first come back from court and they done talk them crazy numbers and you feel sick, you don't want to eat the sandwiches, you just want to go in the cell and just ball up like, hope this shit a dream.
You can't even talk.
What? You can't even talk. And was there, I remember praying, but I didn't pray because I believed in God. I was on none of that. I prayed because I was like, look, God, I know I'm going to the prison. I know I'm going to the chain.
Ain't no getting around it.
I mean, I'm going there. But what I'm asking you, Lord, is don't let them give me that much time. That was the prayer. And it was 2 weeks later, man, that they called me up front to the officer station. They told me to pack my shit.
Right.
And I'm thinking, when you got the charges I had, particularly with the violent charges, you're usually going to what we call D block. And D block is the gladiator ward. This is where, them boys,
It's serious.
It's
real.
it's
real.
where you got to put on the gladiator gear now. And it was there, man. We always ask that dumbass question where I'm going, because I know where I'm going.
Right.
And they told me to pack my stuff, that the charges against me would drop.
Are you serious?
Dead ass. And it was right there, man, that
hands, good hands. With a hand clap, hands.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And it was there. And, I got to say, on this journey from 6-time felon to NYU graduate, student of the year, professor, on that journey, there were 3 intricate things that I like to say 4. The first one, and this is, it's when people talk about mentorship and this, working with young cats in this hill. For me, it was when I was 26 years old, and it was a cat named Chin. And Chin was doing a 60-year bid. And I remember I used to work in the boiler room. When they give it, for you all to know, we get work assignments in prison.
Right. Let them know, bro.
That's going to go into what we call the prison industrial complex. But that's a whole nother segment we got to chop up. But I was given this work assignment in the boiler room, and I hooked up with this cat, Chin, and he was doing, and Chin, I was 26 at that time, and this is the cat that I wanted to grow up and be like. When we talk about being an OG. That was my goal in life.
Right.
That was my and I say that not to glorify, but the reality is for a lot of us, that's all we got to look forward to coming from where I came, that cloth I came from.
Right.
It wasn't no, Barack Obamas and all that we individuals such as yourself that we have to look to for that direction in life. When I came up, it was just you either die in the chain gang, you die OG, or you live to be an OG. Either one, take your pick.
Okay.
And I remember one day I came in, Wise, and Chin said, "Man, you need to get your young ass in school." Because in the foster home, my mama used to make me read a lot. And I really didn't get into school because I thought that I was whatever. I got into school because Chin said you need to take your young ass to school because
that's the respect that you had for him. Right, correct.
That's that respect I had for him. So it wasn't no come back the next day and telling him, because once the OG said, he done said it.
That's what it is.
He said after that, all that extra talking shit. And I remember getting in school, and I remember once I got my GED, I got involved in the program, in the prison program, and I got my GED. Okay. And I got and I earned it. And the sad thing to this very day, as I talk to you and the DJ, is that I never got a chance to see that man again to
Chin.
this day. Chin. Okay. And he was the one who started this off. Years way before, I got all these advisors and all this shit that, I have in my life now, loving people. But he was the one, that's where I understood when, people try to replicate that thing called mentorship. It's based on that respect for one another.
Right.
When you respect a cat like that. And from there, man, after that, the other incident outside of that release, when they dropped the charges, that never happened, was in 2008. When Barack Obama got elected.
Okay.
That was the night that the wheels of real change started happening to me. I was sitting in Gainesville Correctional Institution. The guards let us stay up. When you're in the day room. Day room is the TV area for y'all who may not know that we get to sit in and chop it up.
Watch a little TV.
Yeah, play cards and dominoes and all that. And they allowed us to stay up because of the presidential election. Now, I'm down in the South, so, them white folks was like, yeah, we're going to let you Negroes stay up, and that's the nice word. I'm being nice right now, to see this defeat. And that night he was elected, man, it was the night that I got to honestly tell you, it's like I thought about all the things that the black jokes they used to make about folk,
it's gonna be cold.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold day in hell by the time we see a black president.
Right.
Yeah, y'all will see all that. That's that. And I can remember, man, and it was again one of those moments. My mama's voice came to my mind and said, "You can be anything you want if you apply yourself." But the thing about that at the time, particularly for me, growing up in the system, and for a lot of young black men that 2.2 million across this country. What happened is something James Baldwin talks about in his book, Fire Next Time, when he says that we only become a failure when we believe what society or the white man has referred to us as a nigger.
Okay.
That's James Baldwin. And when we start internalizing what somebody else says about ourselves, they no longer need to tell me I ain't shit. They no longer need to tell me I'm dumb. They no longer need to tell me, because I done internalize it now. So I'm not finna aspire to nothing. I ain't finna do nothing. I ain't finna try to be nothing, because you already told me my lot in life to be a thug, young black thug, and that's all I'm gonna be. And I'm gonna tell you, real facts, I aspired to be that. And so on that night, Barack Obama was elected. That man, that thing, how do I say it? Oh man, I can't even tell you. I remember sitting in there, everybody had went to bed, and I remember there was this old black lady on there that, you know how, if you look at the election night, they were showing all the different, it was this one old black lady, man, sitting there crying. And when I looked at her, it was like I was looking at my mama, you know, my foster mama, man, because she always believed in the goodness of us in spite of what people said about us.
Right.
That she believed in, because she came from the deep south. So she believed that black men were strong, beautiful, handsome. But you got to understand, coming up, you know, coming up the way I came up, I thought she was just saying all that stuff because, for one.
No, she's saying she's seen some stuff.
Yeah, they see past what we see.
Right.
We just see what we see in the moment, and they got them old eyes that see through time.
Right.
That type of stuff I grew up with. And it was on that night.
They really experienced and seen.
They seen it for what it was.
Exactly.
They seen the spirits of me, you, your DJ, all of us, all in those our ancestors through those years. They seen it in a way that we would never see it because we're living in the moment.
Right.
And she opened my eyes in that way to be able to see past the moment. And again, remember, I was blind at the time, so it was on that night, like they say in the Bible, and y'all hear me quote the Bible now, not because I'm a preacher or nothing like that. I quote the Bible a lot because I read the Bible a lot in prison. Because, you know, if you ain't got the magazines, you got that prison, you got the Bible, and, you know, we cling to the Bible because it's like the Bible that add up with society, you know, when God, all that there. So I found hope in that, so that's why I would read it. You know, she brought me up that way. So it was in there, so they talked about that one thing. Good for you, brother. Yeah, that the scales fell off. And the scales was like getting to see the reality of my life at that point. And I seen my own mistakes. I seen the challenges that I faced inside. And I'm going to tell you, external factors play a lot of role into some of those things. Get me on that. But it's also that internalization that plays a greater role, because we'll be afraid to challenge shit. And I say that particularly in relation to the external factors. This is when I'm talking about policies. This is when I talk about legislation, like the 94 crime bill that referred to young black men in our communities.
Walk the yard, brother. Talk to him.
Yeah. By then Senator Joe Biden, who's now president, who said, quote me, DJ, check this out, DJ. This is what he said. He said, we don't care about them being from those broken communities. We don't care about if they come from broken homes or born out of wedlock. We don't care about none of that. What we gonna do is lock their ass up. And who he was talking about was those young black and brown men, boys who came from broken communities. You know, from the hood where we from.
Right.
That's who he was talking about. And they used this dogma language where in that policy, we know who they talking about, and they ain't got to say they talking about us. We know who he was talking about.
Directly.
And we saw that play out in legislation such as the 94 crime bill that began to disproportionately incarcerate, target, militarized police. That's when where I'm from, we used to call them jump out boys. I don't know what y'all call them from. When them boys come in with them boys had them things like they was Iraq somewhere coming in the
guns here,
what?
Gun here, two here.
Kicking in the doors. That began to tell our communities, y'all ain't worth shit. That when they begin to lock us up one after next, one after the next, up to a point of 2.2 million black and brown. And that's just the me and your bodies that was in the chain gang.
Right.
We ain't talking about how that then transferred over to our school system, what we have now called the school to prison pipeline, where the same thing was methodically used in our schools. And look at those numbers when we talk about the school to prison pipeline, and what you're going to see, it's the same approach in dealing with young black and brown men. That's why young black and brown kids, we are 5 times more likely to get suspended, 4 times more likely to get kicked out of school and expelled, 6 times more likely to end up going from a situation in school that happens at every other school, but it's just to jail. And then the trajectory begins, because then we are actually 8 times more likely to go on to adult prison once our children have any contact.
That's a fact.
With the juvenile justice system. So it was that instance in that night that that change came for me. It started happening because I started to look at myself differently over all those. And I'm talking about I was like 39, 38, 37. After all those years of telling myself I want to die OG, because my death was this. Real talk. This was my death. My death was to be standing on the block with the white tee in the Air Force Ones with the drill, and them boys were gonna come by in that car, and you was gonna hear the doo. Glorious death.
This is what you had set for yourself.
Prophesied my own death. That was mine, because I could see my life being nothing else but that. Either I was gonna be that, or I was gonna be in the chain gang for the rest of my life. Period. That was the only out for me.
Wow.
And it was after that election when I saw that something began to happen in my mind, where I started reflecting over my own life and realized there were a lot of opportunities.
Shine the light on them.
Yeah, shine the light on them. There were tremendous opportunities for me to walk away from situations. But my environment told me that, like, me and you get into some beef, and DJ over there, DJ gonna hear me say something slick. He gonna hear you say something slick. Now you know we can't walk away because our manhood is
let me see how this pan out. Let me see how this pan out.
We play that shit like tennis. Like, you know, we know when it's going down where we from. Ooh, that.
Yeah.
And we were conditioned not to walk away. We warriors.
Right.
I can't walk away. You done said this in front of DJ. I can't walk away, and you can't walk away because I done said it in front of you. And that's how it used to go down. And a lot of men that I encountered in the chain gang, man, were those brothers. We could have walked away, but we couldn't, because the environmental pressures told us if we walk away.
You soft.
If we walk away.
You soft.
What? Those are facts. Those are the same facts that our young black and brown men are living on the streets right now when they trying to call them this and call them that.
Right.
They're trying to survive an environment in which we've been conditioned to be warriors. It ain't that they don't want to just walk away. It is a lot of times I wanted, but I couldn't. Why? I couldn't. The rules of the game wouldn't allow me, and I live by the rules of the game.
Got it.
Facts. Man, on that night, man.
Talk to him.
The wheels started changing. We walking the motherfucking yard. The wheels started changing, and I remember getting out, and there was an organization that came to me, and they asked me, listen, do you want to go to New York to try to change your life? And the only reason, let me tell you, I tell everybody this, outside of my academic achievements at New York University, graduating NSAW Student of the Year,
hands clap. Hands clap.
We keep clapping. Having published articles in USA Today and all these magazines.
Do y'all understand? Google this man. Check him out.
Google it.
Check him out.
You know how they say Google it.
Right.
Outside of
Terrence Coffie.
Studying in Salzburg, Austria, where I'm studying. Listen, man, I'm from the penitentiary, from the hood, and I'm wailing Europe. Hey, DJ, your boy wailing Europe, studying global poverty and the impact on the criminal justice system. And guess what I found out? Where they were trying to label our communities and our young black men this and this and this and that. In my studies, I call poverty is the bastard child of crime, or crime is the bastard child of poverty. In every region on this God's green earth, the highest level where you see the communities or states or cities or countries with the highest level of crime are actually those communities with the highest level of poverty.
Okay.
It was not isolated to us. But what this system did was use that and build a system of justice, or injustice in this case, that played on that.
Talk to him, bro.
The other point that revolutionized my life was when I graduated the program that I got involved in here in New York. And I have to highlight that point in my life because it was there that I had completed something good for the first time in my life outside of a motherfucking prison sentence.
What was that feeling? What was that feeling like, brother?
God, man,
what was that feeling like?
Listen, man. On that night when we was at the graduation ceremony for this program, I actually thought something was gonna go wrong. I said, man, they ain't gonna get to my name. Something gonna happen, because I never completed nothing good.
So you anticipating something going wrong?
Come on, man. We conditioned for failure. Society conditioned me, man. And man, when they called my name that night, and I share with people, I've earned my bachelor's degree from New York University. I earned my master's degree. I got all those graduation ceremonies that I've been involved in. But the most impactful graduation that I have ever had in my life was that night I graduated that program.
Okay. Come on, take your time. Take your time.
Cycle. It broke that cycle. It broke a mental cycle in me. It broke some windows down in me. It just broke some things that I wasn't a failure. It wasn't this broken thing that couldn't be fixed anymore. And from that derived one of the things that I say, that I like to say to children who come up in foster care like me, who came up. See, I'm from I was birthed in the system. Wasn't raised in it, as I said. I was born in it. But I have a saying that I always tell kids, that broken crayons still color. We still have the ability to. And from there, this organization offered me a job, and by the time I got ready to graduate the program, as I was sharing with you earlier when we were chopping it up, they had me take a TABE test, and I took the test. It's like for anybody here, it's a aptitude test just for basic, education and all that. And I scored off the charts with this thing. After that, they contacted an organization here in New York called College Initiative and said, we think you might want to talk to this guy here.
Right.
Now, when they were saying all this to me, you got to understand, I'm about 39 years old. I done been to penitentiary 6 times. The only thing I was doing from completing the program to entering college to all this stuff I was doing, the only thing was on my mind was don't go back to the chain gang.
Right.
That's it. I didn't know what comes after don't go back to the chain gang, because that's all I knew. So my whole focus was just do this and don't go back to the penitentiary.
Right.
But in the process of that, this is where that part of me that I always got to take y'all back to the old lady who was dropping those things in me along the way, was used to tell me, Terrence, you are so smart. Because she used to make me read books, and then she used to not only make me read the books, she used to make me come back and tell her what I read without the book. So I had this ability to process information, but I just thought it because I thought that she was telling me all that because coming up, I didn't know how to play football. I was not athletically inclined. I could not dance, and please don't ask my fiance about that, because my fiance will tell you, my kids don't dance, don't do it.
Sit your ass down.
Sit your ass down. Don't do it.
You gotta do
and I thought that, I got to do 2-step all the time.
That's it.
That's it. And I'll fuck that up. Let her tell it. And I used to think that she used to just tell me that because I was a foster child. Mm-hmm. I thought that, you know how you know that you just got to tell the child something? Mm-hmm. Like, I thought she just had to tell me that. She had to tell me something because I didn't have nothing like everybody else. I was the...
But she was keeping it a buck with
you. She was seeing the old eye. She was seeing something else. Because I thought that everybody could read shit and just comprehend it. And you know, I just thought that's what everybody did. Right. Because I was nothing special. Because I've been through life. You know, that breed.
Right.
Well, we're going to live and die this.
Real shit.
Got us.
Take your time.
And it hurts me, and it almost makes me cry because while I'm looking at you, I'm looking over at DJ. I'm thinking about all those young black, you know, cats right now who locked up in those prisons, who locked up in those juvenile justice, who locked up in poverty, who think that because this society and told us that, and they don't give us the opportunities because we can have the potential because God gave everybody that, but they don't create the opportunities. So our young men stay trapped in a system of justice where we become an asset only to another system that matriculates money, and you know we only become mules. Mm-hmm. Let me put it that way. And that was reflective of when I was in Europe. That when I got there, DJ, all of them thought I was some type of basketball player or sports player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Europe, because they could not fathom that a black man was in Europe on a world stage talking about poverty and, you know, and studying the dynamics of poverty from a global perspective. That just could not be a black, no. So I had to be a boxer, I had to be a sports something, a sport figure, and I would tell them, because I was staying at it. Yeah. That. And it was through that, man, after graduating that program, and I got involved, and I took the test, that everything that old lady had said was true. Mm-hmm. That God had blessed me. He didn't give me the dancing thing. You know. Although, don't let my baby over there. She'll start see me want to do my little. She'll be like, no, don't do it. He had blessed me with a mind. They got this movie I used to see when I was locked up called A Beautiful Mind. Mm-hmm. But you know, we can't think about that like me. I'm not one of those people, you know, because those are the smart people. Those are the good people. And I'm saying this in reflective of every young black man, that when we look at the world, we think that they the smart ones. They the That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking for right now.
Talk to him.
So that happened, and I got accepted. I actually started my first official academic career at Bronx Community College.
Okay.
Go Broncos. My first semester there, and honestly, I tell everybody this again. After I had gotten to school, what I wanted to do, and this was when my purpose was born. Let me say this. Let's talk about purpose.
Okay.
My purpose was born out of my experience in that program because, for one, I was at this time, I was about 40 years old. I had graduated this program for the first time in my life, and there was the first time that I wanted to use my lived experiences to help other men who were coming through the program that was starting their lives over. You feel me, DJ? So that was my way, and I thought, well, at least I could be a case manager because I was already, because we had a lot of 25 and 26 years old who thought they was about that life, but they didn't understand I was about that life. Right. I'm about that life. Nigga, I got the stripes to prove I'm about that. Right. You talking that, but and I would see these young cats getting into these little tennis matches with each other. Like, you know,
bluffing.
Yeah, you playing that game.
Bluffing altercations.
Yeah, we coming from that cloth where, boy, once you start talking, you about to walk it, and you got to walk it to the end of the line now. You playing games. But not understanding that's how they get trapped up in it, that environmental factor. So a lot of them respected me for who I was. So when I would intervene, now check this out. I'm trying to tie the dots for everybody here. Just like the respect I knew they had for me was the same respect I had for Chin. So what I was doing was, they would be like, yo, OG. And then I still became the OG. But I didn't have to die to be the OG. I didn't have to be in the chain gang again. And I still got to be the OG.
Gotcha.
Feel that?
Yeah. Gotcha.
And that was where I thought that's where I found my purpose. My life was going to be committed to helping these young men get through this program. So when I entered college, now it was 2 reasons. The first reason, and still the primary reason at that time, was not to go back to the chain gang. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted. But the second one was birthed out of that, where I said, well, at least I can help these young cats coming through.
Right.
Because, you used to call me OG, and they'd be like, OG, man, you a cool dude, man. Because I was late, because y'all, I was, boy, if I get in something, it's a whole nother story. So I had to be more mindful of myself and my anger and, allowing those little unnecessaries, those little nuances that used to be primary in my young mind.
You're now overlooking.
Yeah, because the water is much deeper, and I know that.
Right.
And so that was my main purpose. It was to stay out of the chain gang. At least I could get a career, at least being a case manager, where I could help these other. That was it. That was the plan. Mm-hmm. And from that,
somebody had a bigger plan.
Yeah, the university, because by the time I finished my academic career at New York, at Bronx Community College, I had graduated Phi Theta Kappa. I was named to the Coca-Cola All-Academic Team, New York State All-Academic Team.
Are y'all hearing this?
I done studied it.
Are y'all hearing this?
I done been interviewed by these people about the work, and it's and that's when I messed around and got back in New York University called. And they offered me a full scholarship, and even once I got there, that was it's so many layers to this thing, cause at that point when I got there, it was like, how we play football and you play high school level, and then you go into college. Now you done got drafted by the big school, here we go, another lesson I got to drop on everybody. When I got accepted, when the idea of New York University was brought up and they reached out, and I was sharing it with some well-wishers and people who really stood, and I got to say, they meant well. But something, a strange thing happened. When that happened, they were telling me, well, Terrence, maybe you should go to another school. Mm-hmm. Maybe you should try for like a CUNY school, because, NYU is a bit different. And what they were telling me was,
try to discourage you.
Yeah, no, they were.
Go ahead.
I want to say discouraged, but I think what they was trying to look out for me, and what they thought was that my best interest, that this had happened. So really, I think what they were telling me is that I wasn't good enough to compete at that level. Now you was still over here, you caught a few passes, and you did. When you high school, it's high school, but when you go to college, it's a whole nother. And I remember that. But they didn't know that's what my mind. So what you're telling me, that I'm not good enough. So to your listeners, don't let nobody dictate to you the potential you have to succeed because of their limited views of themselves.
Y'all hear that? Welcome to the platform.
Welcome to the platform today.
Yes. Walk the yard, brother. Walk the yard. Talk to him.
And what I did was the same thing I did in when I was in that jail cell. Mm-hmm. Tell you now, I remember those well wishers who people and they did mean well. I remember going back to my cell. Going back to my apartment. I remember I was so excited, and I felt somewhat discouraged. But I remember my mama, and I remember getting on my knees. Why? Mm-hmm. And I said, God, look, I don't know nothing about all this stuff. Mm. I said, but one thing I'm gonna do. I ain't going back. So I'm finna put my best foot forward.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you, it was so audacious of me, because I got scholarships offered from USC, Texas A&M, Columbia, all these different schools.
Hold on, one more time. Say it again. Yeah. Say it again.
I got offers from USC, Columbia University, Yale. It was about 6 more, man.
Okay.
It was about 6 more.
Okay.
I chose New York University purposely. And I'm going to tell you what I did, DJ. I did not apply to any other school. I applied to one school. You know how you're in Las Vegas, and you got all the money on the table, and they say roll the dice, and you push it all like that.
Let it ride. Let it ride. Let it ride. Right.
Because if I was going to win, I was going to win. If I was going to lose, I was going to lose. Straight like that. I applied to no other school, and I pushed it out there. Right. And it was about 2 months later, I was sitting in my office where I was working with these guys, and the email came through, DJ. And when I first saw it, they said that your decision on New York University. And I remember, your boy sat there for like 20 minutes, because it was, you know how you don't put it all on the line now? Like, my whole life seemed to be tied into this one thing that I was afraid to open to see, because the real question, what was going on. It wasn't about the decision. It wasn't about this. It wasn't about none of that. For me, the real question was, am I good enough? That's what it meant. Am I what society has said all these years? Am I just a dumb nigga? That's what it meant to me. After all those other accomplishments, that's what that meant to me. It took me 20 minutes. I remember I went outside, I prayed again. I remember I came back in, I looked at the thing, I went back outside, I smoked the cigarette, I came back in, because it was, and I sat down, and I hit open. And it said, congratulations. You have been accepted to NY University. And from there, man.
Wow. Great job, brother.
Yeah,
great job.
Man. And from there, my academic career just took off. And I need to share with everybody, this is another important piece, is that the same way that happened in that moment, I remember I went to my first convocation there. And convocations, when you first get accepted in these prestigious universities, and I remember going to the Kimmel Center and being in there with my counterparts from across the world now. And it wasn't just the minority school. Now, I got the Chinese, the white people, the Africans, the privileged blacks, and all these people in this place. And your boy sitting there as a 6-time felon, 40 years old, and I'm talking about competing with these. And I remember, once again, I made my decision. The only thing, because you know my mind again, I can't be better than these people. They done been bred in this. Right. They've been bred from children to go to these type of. Me, I come out the penitentiary. And it was there that I made one commitment to myself. And I say this to anybody who listens, who works with our youth. You tell them to please just tell them, do the best you can be, the best you can be. That's it.
Say it again.
The best you can be. And that's what the only thing I could commit myself to, was being the best version of me, academically, professionally, as a student, across the board. I was going to be the best version. I promise you that's all I could. Because what else can I do? By the end of my master's program, I had graduated NSAW Student of the Year. Graduated with a 3.9 GPA. Graduated with all the accolades. And for the first time in my life of being that foster child who was in those homes, who everybody was better than him, everybody had the better clothes, everybody had the better this, everybody had the better that. Your boy was the king of the mountain.
Listen, brother, this is an enlightenment, man.
And that came from one commitment, and one commitment only. Asking God to help me to be the best version of me. So today, after that journey, man, today a lot of my time is now, as I shared with you, I'm an adjunct lecturer at New York University, where I teach students.
Let them know.
Yeah. I teach students from across the world at the university. I'm also the founder of Educate, Don't Incarcerate, where I work directly with justice-involved citizens who are coming home and those who are already home. And we kind of build this coalition and network to teach and understand the value of policy. So we have a training program that teaches them various aspects of how do we effectuate change. I had 2 national campaigns. The first is what you and I initially discussed, is to repeal the '94 crime bill. So we have a coalition of people, lawyers, bar associations, legislators that will be pushing that forward. And the second one that I push forward is the national campaign for I Am a Credible Messenger. And these are individuals such as yourself and those individuals who will come out who made that change in their lives. And that part is important to me because for me, it was Barack Obama and Chin in that place. For those individuals coming out, they're going to have to see a wise doing defeated from tragedy to triumph.
Right.
They're going to have to see men like DJ who know that the brothers who want to do music, they can have a place they can come to learn to do that. They're going to need to see, our women are going to need to see my fiance who works with directly involved women from for New York City, from beyond the bars. When she talks about beautifying and finding beauty in those women. And these are the source. I have a good friend, Glenn Martin. He always says that those who are closest to the problem are also those closest to the solution, but the furthest from the power and resources. So we no longer spending our lives, our time, and our energy to beg anybody to let us sit at their table. Please let me come in. Tupac said that. I don't know if there's a clip, DJ. Tupac was talking about, you know, when people live, they say they bang on the please, please, please give us something to eat. Please, please, please give us something to eat. Oh, please, please, please. And then sooner or later people get hungry enough, they're going to have to kick down that door. And they're not doing it because they trying to be, we're hungry. So what we have decided to do, we ain't not even fucking knocking on your door no more. What we have decided to do is use our resources through platforms such as this. Through individuals such as yourself, through my fiance, through me, and a host of formerly incarcerated people who have went on to do some tremendous things in this world. Your last week guest, Jeff Deskovic, Glenn Martins, the Shawana Vaughns, the deep Dorian Grays of this world. We're going to amplify. My platform is to amplify those individuals because what we do know under this current administration.
Brother Terrence Coffie, listening to you was enlightening. You're phenomenal, brother.
Man, listen, I told you we was going to walk the yard, man. I told you we was going to walk the yard, man.
Hey, listen, I already knew. All I had to do was just give you the mic, and you was going to go and take us all the way there. Usually, it's defeated tragedy to triumph. You took us all the way through it. One wave, brother.
We definitely is going to walk this yard. But let me say first, I want to thank you and DJ Hands and this show for having me on, man. And I look forward to coming back, man, sharing with your audience. You know this part 2 to this shit.
Oh, man, we definitely looking forward to seeing you, brother. We definitely looking forward to seeing you. Thanks for coming by. Y'all don't forget, tune in 6 p.m. to check this brother out. Defeated Tragedy to Triumph.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Terrence Coffie, man. Y'all Google him. Y'all Google him. This brother's real, man. This is real. You can touch it. You can feel it. The knowledge he gave you is real. You can research it.
Real
All right,
story.
Check him out, man. Yo, thank you, brother.
I look forward to come back. Thank you, man.
All right, my man. You travel safe, brother.
Same to you.
Peace.